It's Christmas time, and sometimes you just gotta let the season take you. What's up, everybody? Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. All right, so a lot has been happening in my life lately. We're gonna talk about it in order. I had an argument the other day, but I don't really know if I want to talk about it because I don't really care about that stuff. You know, like sometimes I get mad about certain things. It happens less and less now. If you guys aren't familiar with the way things run for me, like less and less do I care about any of the stuff that's happening around me. There was one situation that got on my nerves. I didn't care for the fact that somebody misquoted something I said, and I still stand by what my actual statement was, which I don't even know if I want to talk about that because online those things can get like misconstrued, and people will also take bits of what you say and kind of turn your statement into what they want your statement to be so that they can spin a particular narrative. So at this time, right now in the podcast, I don't think I'm going to talk about that. But who knows, like after we get to chatting a bit, what I'm going to talk about, because this one is going to be an episode of Unbothered. And it's a Let the Season Take You episode is what I'll call it, because I really have just been going with the season, you know, and not letting even myself stand in the way of good things that could be happening. Like Chris Storin and Mandy, his wife, Chris and Mandy Storin, I should say. That's the way you would say that. They ended up moving to town a while back, and it's been such a blessing to have them here. And they were getting rid of this electric fireplace that they had, which at first when Chris offered it to me, because they moved into an apartment here in Vegas that already has like an actual apartment or an actual fireplace, you know, a wood burning fireplace. And so they were moving here and they had that fireplace and they offered it to me. And I had been wanting one for a while, but I told them no initially because I was like, that color of the fireplace doesn't go with anything I have, because it was like a wood looking, like a dark wood color. And I knew that wasn't going to work for the way my apartment looks, my decor. Not that I'm like Mr. Design. If you're ever in my place, it's cute. It's definitely my style, but there's nothing particularly, you know, like designy and gay about it like some people would imagine a person like me would live. It's not at all like that. My place is comfortable, but I'm not trying to impress anybody. I just, you know, but I was like, that fireplace wouldn't work with what it is I'm doing right now. And then I was like, maybe I could watch a couple YouTube videos and figure out how to make this fireplace into my own little DIY project. And this was like the week before Thanksgiving. Yeah, the week, not leading up, but the one before that, that I got it. And so I went to Home Depot, I bought some chalk paint. It ended up taking me 3 coats of paint and also, what's it called? Some of the, like, the finishing thing, I don't even remember what it's called, but I used it, a stain, or I don't know what it's called, something like that. Anyway, it just makes it so it all doesn't get chipped fast and that kind of stuff, and I did like a good job of it. Is it perfect? No. But did I really put my time into it? And like, you know, I had to take off the doors on the side because there's these little doors and I had to paint those, and then there's like a shelf on each side, a little shelf, and I had to paint those. And I'm really quite proud of the job, and I like the way that it came out, and it's really cute, and it really does add to my apartment, and it gave me a place to put my me and Bijou's stockings, because Bijou wanted me to decorate for Christmas. Usually as a single person, I don't decorate for Christmas. But Bijou was like, can we please have a tree? And I don't really like to tell Bijou no. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. I mean, I tell her no plenty. I don't like doing it, but I do it a lot. Just because she's a small dog, and sometimes she comes up with crazy ideas. So sometimes I'm like, B, no, we ain't. I'm sorry, Bijou, but we just ain't. We aren't, Blanche. We just aren't. But when it came to the decorating for Christmas, I was like, well, if that's all my small dog asked me is just to decorate a little bit for Christmas, I guess I can do that. So I went ahead and put up the little things for the lights. There's these little, like, they're from 3M, and they're these, and you can buy them probably from other brands. I just personally got 3M because that's what they had when I was at Target. And you stick them around the windows so that, you know, the lights stay up. And then I put up a Christmas tree that was given to me by Freddie and Lizzie Correa, which I had my tree from last year. But life has worked out so perfect lately, you know, because like there was a thing with the fireplace, which I really had been wanting one. Like I swear to you, I had been wanting one. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Chris Doran offers me one, and I take it from A to B, and it was so great. And then at first, when Lizzie and Freddie offered me the tree, because you know they had moved into a different place and they wanted a different size tree, but they were like, we hardly even used it. I think they used it for 2 Christmases, which, you know, and it's already got the lights and it's already flocked, you know, and so when they offered me at first, I was thinking, I have a tree, and I was going to say no, but then I remembered that last year at Christmas time when I was with my ex, we had the idea that we were going to have a Christmas tree upstairs and a Christmas tree downstairs because it just would be kind of cute and kind of pimpish to have a Christmas tree upstairs and downstairs. And so I thought that would play perfectly into my plan of having a Christmas tree upstairs and downstairs. So I got this tree from Freddie and Lizzie, which if you're not familiar with Lizzie Correa, she's actually an influencer on Instagram, and her Instagram is poppin'. She got real numbers on her Instagram, and we did a YouTube clip together. I don't think she's really working on her YouTube channel at all, which I don't blame her because she's doing so well on Instagram. Like, and does makeup, and she's not controversial at all, so it's not like she's gonna get deplatformed or anything like that. It's just a fun, you know, she does really amazing looks and stuff. So, you know, for her, I think it's perfect for her to be on Instagram. Like, you know, of course, you want to have different streams of income or different streams of influence, but if you've got one that's really working for you, just stick with that. So, but my point is, Lizzie, and then Freddie Correa, her husband, he's a comedian and he's really fun and really cool and just a nice guy. And so they offered me this tree, and at first I was like, no. And then I got the tree from them, and I had 2 trees at that point, and I was thinking, like, I don't really know how I'm gonna make the room in my bedroom for a tree that size, because one of them is 7 foot tall and the other one's 7.5 feet tall. 7.5 feet tall is the one that Freddie and Lizzie gave me. And then all of a sudden, Chris Doran had mentioned something about they were going to go get a tree, and I was thinking, well, I have an extra tree. So I just was like, why don't you guys use this tree, and then I'll use the one that Freddie and Lizzie gave me, and then problem solved. I don't have to worry about making space in my bedroom for this other tree. I don't have to worry about buying a bunch of new decorations. And so that happened like that. Then I decided, you know, I was going to go ahead and put my tree up. I had a rough week, Thanksgiving week, a rough week. I guess I don't like talking about it because it was such a rough week in the way that it was just one thing after another. And I'm really getting better at handling stuff like that, you know, like not breaking down when things feel like they're crisis or whatever. Because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff doesn't matter. Like, that's just why I'm becoming so much more comfortable in everything, because does it really matter if, you know, if you have a bad week? Does it have to, like, now mean you're cursed or you're just having a bad year or whatever? Because really, it's been a great year. Even with, you know, the breakup I had, which was back in March for anybody that's keeping track. Oh, April. No, it was April 1st, April Fool's Day. I remember because when I posted on Facebook about my breakup and how ridiculously bad it had gone, everybody was like, yeah, April Fools, you asshole. We know you're joking. And I was like, this isn't April Fools. I actually had a breakup. And so it was, you know, it was what it was. But it was funny. I mean, like, even in the moment, I thought that was funny that everybody thought I was doing April Fools. It was very frustrating because then I had to edit the post and be like, this is not April Fools, you guys. I really just had a breakup, and you know, it was it was what it was. But even that, you know, is like, my life has been so much better since my relationship ended. And even though there are lonely moments, and I would not deny that, there are lonely moments, and there were moments even when I hit him up, through text. And I don't drink, so it's not like you can be like, oh, that was a drunk text or whatever. No, I wasn't drunk texting anybody. It really was just me, still feeling feelings because I had actually made plans to be with that person. At this point in my life, I don't really plan on spending time with anybody that I don't have serious intentions for. And, I'm not gonna, that's not something I'm trying to force, but at the same time, if it just falls into place, it's cool. Which leads me to a really weird situation, not weird situation, but just kind of a ironic situation probably is the best way to put it. I had just recently because okay, some people will try to slut shame you, but you can be a slut without being shamed. And plus, I'm guy slutty, which I know that may sound sexist or whatever. And it's nothing against the bottoms out there being slutty or whatever. But I'm it's not like I've never bottomed before, but I'm for the most part pretty much top only. So when I'm slutty, it's just me fucking people. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and I don't want to be graphic, but let's just talk about things like adults. So I had been on this streak where I've just been fucking around with people, and it's been very fun. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and be like, oh, it's been miserable. Have I been catfished a few times? Yes, most definitely I've been catfished a few times. But I've gotten really good with the catfishing where I'm just like, yeah, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And I'm not rude about it because I don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings, even though I know some people say, well, you should hurt their feelings because they lied to you or they used old pictures, because that's what I've had. I've had people that have used old pictures, and then I see them and then I'm like, yeah, this isn't the guy. Or some people will use really tricky shots, and then when you see them in real life, you're like, this isn't what I was sold on. And I'm not a person who can pretend that something's not happening that is happening, or that I'm enjoying something when I'm not enjoying. You can tell on my face what's going on. So when these situations have happened, I've definitely had to just address them and be like, yeah, this isn't going to work out after all. So, I'm sorry, but, you're going to have to go. But I've also had some really fun experiences on Grindr. And the last week and a half was just really fun on Grindr. A lot of fun on Grindr. But anyway, then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm done having fun on Grindr. I just got to take care of what I got to take care of. It's Monday. It's time to do Monday stuff. And Grindr is not Monday stuff unless you're a Monday Grindr kind of gal, and I don't hate you for it. But for me, Monday is not, or Grindr is not Monday stuff. So I was done, and then I saw this Asian, a Grindr profile that said Asian and whatever else. And I am not somebody who has a particular type, I'm somebody who, if you're sexy, you're sexy. And, but I'm not particularly, I've never been in a relationship with an Asian guy. Yeah, that's true. I've never been in an actual relationship with an Asian guy. I've hooked up with a few Asian guys, but, it's not like I have a thing, because I don't really have a thing for anybody. Some people think I have a thing for white guys, and there's a part of me that is attracted to trashy white guys, and I don't, that's not an insult to anybody I've dated or whatever. There was one guy I was with that, it was so disappointing because he changed what he was halfway through our relationship, and then he wondered why I wasn't into him anymore. When I first started dating him, he was proud white trash, and he would tell me things like, come over and get some of this white trash loving, or, he would fully admit to being white trash. And then we started dating for a little while, and then he started putting on this kind of classy air where he was trying to pretend to be one of those gays, and I was just like, no, that wasn't what I was into. I thought you were a trashy white guy, and I was attracted to that, And then he got mad at me one time because I posted on Twitter, the only way my boyfriend could be more perfect for me is if he had a sliding glass door on the front of his house, which of course means you live in a trailer. And he read that and he got very offended by it and was like, "Are you calling me trash?" And I felt like, I thought we both agreed you were trash. I mean, like, and not, again, not in a bad way. To me, I'm from Arizona. I consider myself trash, you know? And so I'm not, I'm not trying to be the classy guy, and I'm not trying to date the classy guy, even though what we're getting to, I did end up meeting a guy that's pretty classy in certain ways, but just sexy as fuck. And so I'm not trying to stay away from that. But so what happened was, okay, so we get to Monday, I'm deciding it's not Grindr day. I see this ad that said, or this profile that says Asian and, whatever else. And I was like, those measurements sound interesting, his height, his weight, that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, that, and the picture was all right. And I do say all right because I was like, but something about it. I was like, let me tap this, which if you're not familiar with Grindr, tapping is like just letting somebody know. It's this little fire emoji basically, and you tap it. And when you tap it, that sends them a little bink, like, hey boo, hey bitch. And so I sent that. And then he tapped me back, and then he was like, hey, you want to hang out, that kind of stuff. Or, I mean, like, we had like a quick nothing conversation, just the most superficial, like, you want to hang out type of thing. What are you into, that kind of stuff. And then he was like, yeah, well, come over. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, what? Because he was staying at the Stratosphere, which is not too far from me, and I'm very familiar with the Stratosphere if you don't already know. But I was like, yeah, I'll go meet this guy at the Stratosphere. And so I asked him what tower he was at and what room number, and he was like, I can't tell you right now because I got to run out to have lunch or something like that. And so I was like, okay, cool, I'll hit you up later. And so I went to the gym, I walked Bijou, I did everything that I had to do for the day, and, because he said he needed a couple hours, and I, in my head, felt like I could use a couple hours myself. So then I went ahead and left and did all the stuff that I had to do. And then I logged back onto Grindr once I got done with everything I had to do, and I noticed that he was on Grindr too, so I hit him up, and I was like, what's up? And he was like, yeah, come over. And I was like, okay, well, what's your room number? What's your tower? He told me, and he had sent like, some pictures of him, and he had also sent like, and then there was also his profile picture. And like, he was decent looking in his profile picture, but he reversed catfished me in the way that when I got to his hotel room, and I showed up looking like a scrub, like I got bedhead right now. I didn't do my hair for the day, but I live like this sometimes, and you guys have seen me look trashy, so it's not like this is anything new for you guys. But I showed up to his hotel looking like a scrub. Apparently, he's attracted to scrubs because he immediately let me in, which is what you do if you're into something. And then when I saw him, I was just like, this guy is so fucking sexy. And like I said, I don't have a type except for sexy. Like, you just gotta, like, make me feel it, like, and he was just really sexy to look at, which is, like, my thing. And so then, and I know some of you are like, sexy is everything, everybody's thing. No, some people like handsome, some people like cute, some people like, and a person can be handsome and cute and be sexy, but some people are handsome and cute and just aren't sexy. Like, they don't have a real sex appeal. Like, you aren't drawn to, like, have sex with them. Yeah, you would have sex with them because they look good, but they just don't have that, like, thing, and that's what it was with this guy, is like, I was just like, yeah, he's just sexy. And it's sexy in a way that the pictures couldn't convey or didn't convey. And so we hooked up, which was great, and the way I like to do everything, hook up first. Like, I don't have good boy, bad boy hang-ups in the way that, like, if you have sex with me on the first date, then I don't respect you or want to, hang out with you or get to know you or whatever. I have a joke where I talk about the fact that, I'll fuck you to see if there's a reason for a first date. And that really is the way that I live my life, I'm not going to a movie. I'm not going to dinner. If I don't want to fuck you, I don't care what your favorite color is. I don't care how many siblings you have. I don't care where you went to school. I don't care what you went to school for. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care about any of it. If I don't want to have sex with you, I'm not interested. And that's just what it is. And when I was younger, I tried like how everybody says you should go for personality. It's what's on the inside that counts. Yes, that does count after I know that I'm able to fuck somebody, that I want to have sex with them. And so for me, I didn't feel like there was any disrespect in us like fucking around first, and I was getting ready to leave because I thought that's what he wanted. But like the other thing I didn't tell you guys about me and Grindr lately is I've also had a string of guys lately on Grindr try to turn me into a relationship, which I'm not a relationship guy. When it comes to Grindr, it's not like I'm looking to go to coffee with you or I'm looking to go to a movie. I go to movies by myself. I don't drink coffee. I have plenty of friends. If I want to do something, I can do something. There was one time that I asked this one Grindr chick to go with me to a restaurant, but that's just because I had a Groupon that a friend had given me that was like worth $100 and some, and he'd given it to me completely free. So all I had to do was pay tax and tip, and that was more like a datey restaurant type thing. It was Koi was what it was. And so it was, it was the kind of thing where like, yeah, maybe I would take somebody, but me and this guy had already planned to hook up. So for me, it was like, well, if that part's a done deal, then let's just maybe go to dinner. But like, I wasn't looking to date this guy or anything like that. I didn't even think he was particularly interesting. I just, on that night, wanted somebody to go to dinner with. I ended up taking some other trick anyway, that because that guy was like, I think that's a little too classy for a Grindr trick like me. Like that kind of thing is what he said, which, I get it. I posted it on my Instagram at a point, but it was that kind of thing, and so like at that time, I guess you could say I kind of was going the date route, but it wasn't really for that. It was me, the selfish route, because all my friends are comics and none of them were going to be able to make it that night. And so, so that way I was like needing some company. But like I said, I figured it out and it worked out great. But I'm not looking for like some of these people. One guy, we started off talking the right way, you know what I mean? Like flirting and sending each other pictures and stuff like that. And then he had sent me like basic pictures, like, pictures of him in like short shorts and a muscle shirt and that kind of stuff. And it was all hot and sexy and stuff. And then he sent me a message where he said like, because he had asked me for pictures too before that, and I had sent him like nudes and pictures that were leading it that way because I thought that's how we were talking, because we were flirting and like asking what the other wanted to do sexually and just standard Grindr stuff. So when he sent me these like conservative pictures, I was fine with it, but at the same time I was just like, I wonder why he didn't send any nudes. And so at a point in the conversation, I was like, hey, I noticed you didn't send any nudes. What's up with that? And but I didn't say like, what's up with that? I just said, I noticed you didn't send any nudes. And then he was like, oh, did you want to see some nudes? And I was like, yeah, I mean, like, I thought that's the way we were talking. And so he was like, okay, cool. He was like, it's just when I think a guy has potential, I don't want to mess it up by going too fast. I felt like, girl, we're on Grindr. This is all about going too fast. This is about going the fastest you can go. My profile says right now. So I don't know what you're talking about over here. My profile also does not say dating and relationships. It says right now. And so I had a couple of guys that tried to do that with me, and not in that same way, obviously. They all had their unique individual way of trying to lead it towards me being their boyfriend, which, like I said, if we're not having sex first, I don't want to be your boyfriend. And I put no pressure on anybody. I'm not like, oh, this is what you have to do. It's like, no, this is the way I work. If you're looking for a guy that takes you out to coffee, takes you out to drinks, takes you out to dinner, woos you, wines you, and dines you, I'm fine with that. Go get that. But I'm not that guy. So just like I'm not going to force you to do it my way, you're not going to force me to do it your way. And so I had just that day, literally Monday, I just put a thing that said, only into hookups, no relationships. And I put the no in caps, or not here for a relationship. That kind of thing is what I put. And then all of a sudden, I meet this boy, and we hooked up. And like I said, he was super sexy. And then I was ready to leave. And he was like, just started talking to me. And he was really not only cute and sexy, but also like charming, and I liked the way he talked. Like I liked his mannerisms, which, if anybody's wondering, would probably be for mainstream society considered on the feminine side, but I've discussed that before too. Like I'm down with guys that are feminine. Like I don't, I'm not pretending like I'm the most masculine guy in the world, and I don't pretend to be anything. I am what I am. I talk the way I talk. I do things the way I do things, and that's what it is, But this guy was a little bit more on the feminine side, but I'm into that. So again, I was like, really attracted to him, which again, people think because of my ex, because my ex was like, definitely on the masculine side and like a boy or a man, that's what I like. No, that's just what the last two guys that I've been in relationships happen to be. I don't care one way or another. Technically, I do like when guys, sometimes guys will apologize to me because they like wearing a little bit of makeup or things like that. And, for different performances and stuff like that, I'll wear makeup. But in everyday life, I don't wear makeup. It's if I'm going to be shooting something, or if I know somebody's going to be taking pictures and I could possibly get a great headshot or something like that, I'll definitely, throw on a little dust. But it's not my everyday. But when guys are like that, it does, in some cases, do something for me. But he wasn't wearing makeup. But like I said, his mannerisms were a little more on the feminine side. But I was so attracted to everything about him. So he's sitting there, and we're talking, and we're having a good time. And then, at some point, I just kissed him, which when we were hooking up, we hadn't kissed at all, which isn't uncommon for me. And it's not the old whore mentality of, you never kiss a trick, like that kind of thing. It's not. Girl, this isn't Pretty Woman. It's just, I don't really care what your mouth tastes like, unless I like you, unless I'm interested in some way and you're sexy. So there was just a point where I decided I was going to kiss him, and then he responded to the kiss, and then we were talking. And so, long story short, we ended up spending the last 2 days together. But he lives in San Diego, so I don't really know if anything's going to come of it or whatever. And I posted about this on Instagram, but it was just really nice to, hang out with somebody and be around somebody that, because... And I don't compare people in the way, but I just try to show the contrast for people in certain things I say. The last guy that I was in a relationship with was sexy, he was really cute, but he didn't know how to be sexy. You know what I mean? He wasn't, he didn't do things purposely to turn me on, or to he would once in a while give a sexy look or whatever, but it was almost like that was by accident or him just being cute and it happened to translate into sexy. But he didn't make a conscious effort to be sexy. And then this guy that I was hanging out with just does a lot of things that are very sexy, like the way he looks at me, and then he was, he'll dance for me a little bit, and do little flirty things and sit certain ways and like move in certain ways, and it's just like my thing, you know what I mean? Where I'm just like, if you can keep my attention in the sexual way, then it goes a long way towards everything else. So I wanted to hang out with him, and we ended up hanging out, and then we had an argument. We had actually two arguments. One was kind of small, and the other one was kind of big. But, I don't care about that. My thing is, I don't care what you are. I don't care what you do. Just don't lie to me. That's what I say. You know what I mean? When I was talking about slut shaming or people doing being sexual and then hooking up with me, I've had people call me a hoe before. He jokingly called me a hoe, which I didn't mind, because when he lied to me, I got pissed off, and I was like, so then this morning we're hanging out after we get over that whole situation, and I was like, yeah, at least I'm not a liar. And he was like, no, you're a hoe. That's even worse. And I was just like, actually, in my book, it's not worse. Being a hoe, there's nothing wrong with it. When you're lying to people, that's different. You should be honest with your partner. Who cares about the rest of the world? Yeah, you want to be an honest person, but at the same time, your partner is what really matters. Because, you have people every day that go to work that are hoes or whatever. I know a lot of undercover hoes. Their work would never know that they're out fucking everything that moves at night, because in the daytime they're button up, straight lace. Everybody thinks oh no, he's not one of those guys. But then you see him on Grindr and you're like, this bitch is out of her goddamn mind, fucking everybody. So to me, what you're if you have to be straight lace at work, then that's fine. But when it comes to your partner, you should at least let them know what you're dealing with, or a person that might be a potential partner. Because that's the way that we were talking to each other. It wasn't like I was just moving it in this direction. There was definitely him letting me know what he wanted, and letting me know that for some reason I'm his thing too, and I don't know what it is that, well, I know certain things he likes about me, because he did tell me. He also told me certain things he didn't like about me, like the fact that I smoke cigarettes. But I was very honest with him in the fact that, yeah, I do smoke cigarettes and I don't plan to quit. So if it bothers you that much, then you probably shouldn't continue to get to know me, because I'm not going to stop smoking cigarettes. And I know some of you at home are feeling like, but Ty, it's better for your health. But yeah, not telling me what to do is better for your health. So don't worry about what's going on in this camp. You worry about what you got going on. If you don't think it's good to smoke, then you don't smoke cigarettes, and I'm fine with that for you. I would never offer you a cigarette. I don't give cigarettes to my friends even. I just don't give cigarettes out. I buy cigarettes so that I can smoke cigarettes, not so that I can loan them out or give them to people. So you don't have to worry about me pressuring you into my lifestyle. You do what you do, boo-boo. But he's young and he's cute. So, there was a point where last night he was being a little bit kind of bossy with me, which I liked certain bossiness. If you saw my Instagram story of me with him, there was a point where he handed me lotion, and he was put lotion on my legs, because he had just gotten out of the shower. And for me, that's a sexy chore. So, if you ask me to put lotion on your legs, I'm just yeah, I'll put lotion on your legs, and then I was do you want lotion on your feet as well? Because I personally hate lotion on my feet, but he said he wanted lotion on his feet, and so I did that, and then he captured it on his Snapchat, and he, and I told him to send it to me, and then I reposted it on my Instagram, because I just thought it was sweet, and also showed everybody how sexy he thought I was, which I don't know how anybody felt about my Instagram stories. I haven't got any negative feedback on it. The views seem to stay about the same, so it's not it was particularly unpopular. Actually, if anything, it got a few more views on my story, and I don't think that was necessarily just because of the sexy stuff, because I did post some sexy stuff on there, like him in the shower at a point, which I put the censored over, but he had a towel on, but then there was a point where he pulled his towel down a little bit. But again, that's I posted that, well, I recorded that just because that's the kind of fun we were having the whole time he was here. But also because, like, it made the point that I'm making right now about, like, you know, this is what I am attracted to about that situation, you know, where it's just like, you know, knowing how to be sexy with me. And he was trying to make me jealous. Like, not trying. He made me jealous once, and it wasn't like he was trying. He just was being him. And it was like, in my opinion, disrespectful in the way that that's not what I want the person that I plan to be with. And, like, you know, after the first 24 hours or whatever, like, we were both, like I said, talking this way, like, you know, like talking about actually trying to figure out how to be together. And he knows that I'm not leaving Las Vegas. And like I said, he's in San Diego, so that would mean, you know, after we've been together for a while, then he would have to come here. Which, when I say go with the season, that's also part of what I'm saying, is because there's a part of me that, because, you know, my breakup was in April, so May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So 8 months later, you know, you would think that maybe you might still be a little bit guarded or whatever. But if, you know, like I said, I wasn't trying to be in a relationship on any level. But if something that, or someone, I should say, feels right to me, then I'm not going to tell myself not to do it because I have this imaginary timeline in my head of how long you should wait between one relationship and the next. Like, to me, 8 months is plenty of time if I'm just feeling somebody and I just naturally am drawn to them, and I feel like, you know, there's a couple things that he said in conversation that were just so in line. And like I said, this could turn out to be nothing, but there were just a few things that he said in conversation that were so in line with my thinking and what it is that I would think that, like, an ideal partner would talk like or would say. And they weren't things he ever could have known. You know, they weren't standard type things. They were very kind of personalized things that would just come from a person thinking them. And so when he said that, it was kind of like in my head, I was like, yeah, that's a connection with something that I definitely have thought about before, and I definitely am more interested in this person now. And so, you know, I wasn't going to stop myself from getting to know him better or feeling like, you know, oh, we're moving too fast. I feel like you're moving too fast if one person is like, I'm not there yet, and you're trying to push that. Then you might be moving too fast. But if both people are on board, then you're probably just going with the flow. And yeah, in the end, you might find out that you were both moving too fast, or that you both mistook it for something other than what it actually is. But, you know, like, that's a part of life too, and that can sometimes lead to fun mistakes, you know, where you're just like, yeah, it didn't turn out to be the relationship I thought it would, but it was definitely like a fun couple of months or a fun couple of weeks or a fun couple of days, which, like, I definitely did have a fun couple of days with him. There was a point last night where he went to a party with his friends, and I had to work. You know, I was doing Hilarious 7 show, and so I went to work at Hilarious 7. He went and did what he did. He was at some party at the Link with some of his friends from work, because that's what he came out for, was some kind of work holiday party or something, and it was at the Link. And so, you know, I dropped him off at the Link. I went home, took a shower, got ready, went and did my show. Then afterwards went and had had some food because I hadn't eaten all day. Had some food with some friends of mine from the show, Chris and Eric, shouting them out, shouting them out, shouting them out. And so I went and had food with them. And then, like, you know, the whole time he's at the club partying. And in my head, I was just thinking, this is great. I love when somebody is out having their own life, and then I get to do all the stuff I have to do for work, and I don't have to worry about them just sitting at home waiting for me and not because when people sit at home waiting for you, a lot of times they build up resentment because they think like, oh, they're out, which I didn't tell him what I do. So he doesn't know I'm a stand-up comic, and he doesn't know that, I'm talking about him on YouTube, and he doesn't know that, he knows that I posted about him on social media, but he doesn't know like my social media handles or anything like that. Because I don't talk to people about work. One, because I don't really think it's important. Yeah, I'm a comedian, but like you come to my apartment and I'm paying the bills here. So, that's happening somehow. And I already let you know that I'm not, a drug dealer or doing anything that I shouldn't be doing. And, if you're worried, because he asked me if I was a dancer at one of the clubs, and, because I do have a good body. So a lot of people have thought that before because I don't tell them what I do. But, I didn't say what I did because I don't think it's important. That's one thing. And the other thing is, and I'm getting better about this too, but for a long time, once I would start talking about work and stand-up and stuff like that, suddenly that's all I talk to the person I'm with about. Oh, this happened today at this, or there's this going on in Facebook, or this person had this problem, or this person's Instagram is like this person has this special. Like, I don't want to talk about all that with the person I'm with in a lot of cases. I can blow off steam by talking to the other comedians. Like, for me, when I talk to somebody, like in a dating way, in a lot of cases, I would rather hear about their day because to me, that's more interesting. Like, I know how stand-up works, and I've been around comics for a long time now. So for me, it's not like a big thing to have to, like, not talk about that. It's actually a break, and just to be like, okay, tell me about your life. Tell me about your day. Tell me about your friends. Tell me what you do. Or maybe we don't even have to talk about any of that. Maybe we can just like worry about what we have going on right now between us. And I don't mean worry in a bad way, but like, just live it, enjoy it. Like, kissing, hugging, like laying together, joking together, being silly, which that is another thing that I was liking about with him is he says a lot of really fun, like not intentionally funny things. Like, he's not trying to be jokey, but he's just like, says a lot of things in a funny way. And so, like, that was keeping my attention too. It was just being like, okay, well, this guy's silly or whatever. And, but yeah, there was a point where he did something disrespectful last night, or something that I thought was disrespectful. And then I was just like, well, that's not something I'm going to put up with. So, you want to be that person, I'm fine. But I don't want to hang out with you. And, I don't want to see where anything goes because I already know for a fact that that is not going to work for me. So you can scoot on out. And then he let me know that he didn't realize that that was going to come off as disrespectful as it had. And he didn't realize that I was being as genuine with him as I was being. And so then he said that he would correct that behavior. And he took a step right in front of me at that moment to correct that behavior. So I was just like, all right, well, I can't stay mad forever about something dumb. And if I think that something's worth checking out or worth pursuing, then I can't punish the person for making one mistake and continue to hold them that over their head, or just be like, yeah, now you just have to leave. I just completely can't forgive you. I've done things in life where I wish that people would have given me a little more leeway or been a little more forgiving because I just didn't see things the way that they did at that point. But once they corrected me, I would have been willing to make that concession, Like, there was a point where he felt like that with me last night, earlier in the night, where I got annoyed. It was part both of us, like, not communicating the same way. And I felt like he was being dismissive with me at a point, and then he gave me a literal wave off to sit across from him instead of sitting next to him, which when I'm with somebody, I sit next to them. And I don't care how anybody feels about that. Like, if somebody's like, well, that's really needy of you. If he wants to sit across from you, maybe he wants to look into your eyes. No, No, bitch, that's not the way it works. What happens is I sit next to you. I probably put my arm around you. I'll kiss you every once in a while we're talking. You want eye contact? You turn your fucking head towards me. Bam, we have eye contact. There you go. There's your eye contact. I don't sit across from you. But it wasn't even about him suggesting that I sat across from him, but it was about the way he did it. And like he did like wave me off and like, sit over there. And I was just like, sit over there. I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to. And then we had another moment right before where he had done something like that, like because he asked me to hold his coat, which I don't care. Like I get that sometimes, like I said, he's more of a feminine guy. So when you're a guy like me and then you hook up with a guy that's feminine, you got to know your role just like they got to know their role, I will open the door for you. I will let you go first on things. I will hold your coat. I will make sure that, I help you put your coat on. Like, these are all things that I will do. I'm not opposed to that, and I don't feel at all demeaned by that. I don't mind holding your bag. Right now, I can't hold anybody's bags because I'm still healing, but like regularly, yeah, that's what I do. If I'm with a more feminine guy, then I take on the role of what's traditionally like the man, and then that's what I'm supposed to do is, I take care of them that way. And for me, like I said, I don't feel at all demeaned by that or anything like that. Actually, it's kind of the way I was raised. So, because I was obviously raised to be with women, and I'm not saying that it's wrong that I'm gay. I'm just saying, that's the way I was raised. I'm Mexican, I'm male, and I was raised to, one day have a wife, and those are things that husbands do. And so, or boyfriends even do. And so for me, I don't mind that at all. But there was a fine line last night that he did cross for a minute where he, instead of treating me like I was doing things that your guy would do, he started treating me like I was working for him, and being like, ugh. I was the incompetent assistant was the way he did it. So when he waved me over to sit on that seat, I just yeah, I don't know who you're talking to right now. And then he was like, no, just go ahead and sit down. And I was like, yeah, I'm not sitting over there. And I'm not liking the way that you're being with me. And I had his hoodie in my hand, his coat. And then, he said something. I don't remember what he said. And I was like, yeah, I should get out of here. And we were at Bar 107, which is like the top of the stratosphere. So we had taken that long elevator ride up. And I told him, I would take him up there because he wanted to go check it out. I mean, I was being a good, not boyfriend, because we're not, putting a label on it or anything. But I was being a good potential boyfriend. I was, treating you the way that I should treat you. I'm showing you, and technically I was even going to buy his drink, which I don't drink, so I don't usually buy drinks. But again, if I'm trying to get to know you, if I'm trying to let you know I like you, I'll buy a couple drinks. I'll take you out. I mean, I'll be cool, So technically I was going to buy him a couple drinks, which those drinks are not cheap up there. But then, when he did that, I was just so done with that, because it had been three things. There was one point right before where I was trying to show him how the restaurant right below the bar there rotates, and so I was trying to show that, and he wasn't paying attention to me because he was doing Snapchat on his phone, and it just, it was just where I was being treated like I worked for him. And so, which, like I said, he's a pretty boy, and he's young, and he's probably been spoiled a little bit in his life, and I get that, and I'll take care of you, but I'm not here to spoil you. I'm not that guy, I'm not doing that. And so I just went ahead and was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. And then he said something, and I was like, I don't like the way I'm being talked to, and I went ahead and threw his hoodie. Not at him. I wasn't disrespectful about it. I didn't throw it at him. I didn't throw it at his face. I didn't do anything. I just tossed his hoodie down on the seat next to him, and then I took off. And I got to the elevator, and then he sent me a text saying, "Where are you going?" And then I sent him a text back saying, you know, he tried to call me a couple times, but the reception wasn't working up there. I wasn't playing a game. I actually did answer. He thought I didn't answer. I'd hung up on him, but it was just like when I answered, I couldn't hear anything. So he sent me a text saying, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "I'm going to get out of here." And, you know, I knew he wasn't stuck. He could afford an Uber, and, you know, he's self-reliant, so it's not like, you know, I'm leaving this guy stuck. And he was staying in the stratosphere anyway, so if I had left, he's still at the same point he was before I got there. You know, it's not like I stranded him in any way. And that was never my intention with people. Like, you know, when I'm in that state, you know, I'm just like, I don't like the way I'm feeling. I don't like the way I'm being treated. And I think we all have a right to that, you know, to put a boundary down and be like, yeah, I don't ever want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like I'm working for you. I mean, like, I don't mind being your fucking, your boyfriend and your kind of beast of burden, you know, I'll fucking do that stuff, but not. So then he was like, "Come back, please come back." And so I went back, and then we talked, and then I told him, like, you know, yeah, I didn't feel that. And then he was like, "Yeah, I don't feel you walking out on me. Like, you know, don't do that." He was like, "Get my attention." I was like, "I tried to get your attention, but you weren't listening." And then he was like, "Yeah, you can get my attention. So just tell me you want to talk to me. Don't walk out on me. Don't make a scene." And I was like, "I didn't make a scene. I didn't make it loud. I didn't throw your jacket at you in an aggressive way. I just threw it on the seat next to you, like tossed it." And he was like, "Yeah, I just don't like it. So if you have something you want to say to me, don't walk out on me. Just get my attention." And he was like, "I'll correct it." And so in that case, I had to accept that, you know, maybe I do need to be better about that part, you know. And like I said, this may go nowhere. Like, I might not, you know, end up hanging out with him a lot in the future. He's supposed to come here for my birthday to hang out with me in January. So that'll be another time that we get to hang out. He's got, you know, stuff going in the holidays where he can't come out here. But I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, last night he invited me to that party technically after I was done at my show. You know, he just knew I was at work, and he was like, "When you're done with work, come hang out with me at my party, meet my friends." And I just let him know, because this is a new policy I instated after my last relationship. I don't get to know friends or family members until I've known you for 1 year. After I know that, like, you know, after I'm very clear about the way you feel about me and the way I feel about you and the way that we both handle situations as far as our friends and family go, then I'm completely all right with that. But nowhere before a year. And I don't really want you meeting my friends and family before a year. I don't mind if you do, because some people, it makes them feel better. My family is their own thing, and they're in Arizona, so there's not really a chance of anybody having to meet them anytime soon. But, like, you know, sometimes, like, work friends and stuff like that, of course I will tell him I'm a comedian and let him meet my friends and stuff. It's not at all like anything I'm trying to hide. It's just not something I really want to talk about yet. But yeah, so he invited me to the party, but I didn't want to go. And so I was like, just meet up with me afterwards. And like I said, it just was such a relief to be around somebody that's that independent, you know? And then, but the second one that I was talking about where, like, you know, that one he didn't handle right, and he knew it, and he admitted it. So, like, you know, I feel like we're off to a good start to maybe being friends with benefits type of thing, but I don't know. I don't think either of us is really that friendly. I think it's more like, you know, we're both feeling each other out to see if we're a good match for being together, and if we are, we'll be together, and if we're not, we won't. Like, that's the way I feel about it, you know. But what do I know? I'm just going with the season, like I said. And he came over to my place, and he was like, yeah, this is really Christmassy. And he liked it. And then Bijou liked him. And then he liked my apartment. And I liked him in my apartment. He liked the Stratosphere more because the Stratosphere has updated their rooms. And their rooms are actually, especially this little, like, suite that he had, it was really cute. And Stratosphere is a decent hotel. Like, some people think of it like the way the old Stratosphere was. But since they've renovated it, it really is like a nice hotel. And so, well, Strat, it's now called the Strat. And so I couldn't blame him for liking it there. So, he wanted to spend time there as well, which I was like, no. If you want to hang out with me, then you come to my place because I got little Bijou I got to take care of, and Bijou isn't allowed in the Stratosphere because the Stratosphere isn't pet friendly. So, if you want to spend the night with me, this is where you do it. And that was really comfortable. Like when I slept with him, that was very comfortable. Because there was a point, because, I had told him that he could go ahead and leave for the disrespectful behavior, and he got it. It wasn't like me throwing a tantrum. We're not going to go into details with you guys because I don't want to, misrepresent him. And like I said, it's like we just met, so like it's not even like the kind of thing that you hold against anybody. It was just like a quick, like, this can't happen type of thing. Bam, we were fucking done with it. And so he was like, if you want, I will still go ahead and leave. And then I went ahead and grabbed him, and not in in an aggressive way, yeah, but not in a angry aggressive way, just in a kind of let you know that you're with somebody that feels something. And so I just grabbed him and I was like, no, you're gonna stay here and lay next to me while I hate you for a little while. And then we'll get over it. And I did hate him for the minute, for that moment. I did fucking hate him. But, then I liked him a lot. About 15, not even 15 minutes later, maybe 10 minutes later. It wasn't uncomfortable for long. It got very, yeah, this is one of the good parts about arguing with somebody, is then you get to make up with them. And then, we made up and we went to sleep. And little Bijou went to sleep with us. Bijou barked like crazy when he came in, because he came in the front door, and just because he's like that, when I let him in the front door, when we got home together, he just went straight up the stairs. And Bijou, her little panic button got hit, because she's like, why are you going to my room? Why are you going to my room? And she wasn't having it. She didn't want him just walking upstairs like that, because she didn't know. I may know who he is, but she don't know who he is, and she wasn't feeling it. So she was barking at him and kind of chasing after him a little bit, and I had to calm her down. And then she sat on the bed looking at him. She didn't growl or do anything rude, but she was looking at him I don't know what you're doing up here right now. I don't know why you think it's okay for you to be up here, but I don't really like this. And then when, he had got on my nerves and I started kind of arguing with him, Bijou was kind of like, yeah, I don't really like that. And she came and sat next to me, because I was sitting on the bed, and she came and sat next to me and just looked at him like, gonna piss off my daddy? My daddy doesn't look happy. I know when he's happy, I know when he's not. He doesn't look happy. But then, Bijou ended up jumping into bed with us and slept on his side, which I don't mind when Bijou likes somebody like that. But it's rare that I bring anybody back. There was a point where he said something about Bijou, probably being used to a bunch of people coming over. And I don't have a lot of people at my place. And when I do have, the rare occasion that, because usually I go see people so that, I don't have to have them in my space and shuffle them out when we're done. Usually if they do come over, I'll put Bijou in her little room and seal her off so that they never meet her. They never get to hear, if it weren't for the dog toys and stuff like that and the dishes, people wouldn't know I had a dog, because she just chills. And then I, give her treats when I put her in there and give her treats when we're done. And she's just as happy not ever meeting anybody. So when he said that, I was like, yeah, most people don't get to meet my little dog, and people certainly don't spend the night with me in my bed. Most people that I hook up with, to be honest, don't even make it to the bed. I don't know what these mangies have. Just playing. But I don't know. So yeah, just going with the season. And I love that, because this is my first time ever as a fully single guy that I really decorated, lights up. And I used to think that was the kind of thing you did with the person you're with. But now I get, after doing it this year, that me and Bijou can do it on our own and have just as much fun, if not more, because I use clear lights, the clear lights that came with the tree, because I know I could have wrapped it with color lights as well. I went and bought some extra decorations. I bought a tree skirt. I put out my nativity set. I changed the, what's it called, to white, you know. I mean, like, I put up our stockings on the fireplace. I put Bijou's bed next to the fireplace. I mean, like, I've really been doing a lot as the single me. I put some, like, you know, decorations in the window. It's been good being single, you know, and then like having that guy over, I'm not saying his name not to be disrespectful, but to respect his privacy. But having him over, like that was great too. Like just going with it and being like, you know, come, like, yes, I like you. Come check out where I live and look at the paintings and look at the decorations and look at the way that it's set up and see if you like the person I am from that too. Because, you know, because if we ideally like hit it off, then you have to live with me. Like, yeah, we have to incorporate your style too, but you have to at least be down with plenty of my style as well, because I'm not looking for another half. I don't need anybody to complete me. I want somebody that's another whole person to add what they are to what it is I'm doing, and then we take everything to the next level together. Like that's what I'm looking for if I end up with anybody, because like I already said, I'm not looking for anything. But when it comes to like the, if you end up with somebody, what is it you want? I want another whole person that's, you know. Anyway, I know I have some work to do before I'm fully ready to be with somebody, but I like that I might potentially have somebody that will inspire me to get my shit together even more and, you know, move to the next phase of me, whatever that may be. And I didn't make any promises to him, but just because of where I am at, I probably won't be on Grindr that much. No promises to you guys either, but I don't know. It's like if I feel like somebody's interesting enough, then I think I would rather fully explore that than be, you know, putting my eggs in different baskets and trying to like, you know, oh, well, maybe I'll meet somebody cool over here, or maybe I can have sex with this person. Just in my life in general, I've had enough sex. I mean, like, you can never have enough if you're just single or whatever, but like to feel like I can't take a break and give my full attention to a person that I think might be interesting, I've had enough sex that I feel comfortable with that. Anyway, this one probably was pretty personal, but you guys know how it runs around here if you watch my podcast ever, or even my opinions. It's the way I do it sometimes. So this has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.